a group of students in the Memorial Day Parade in Woodbury advocating a position on the vote. That's not the purpose of the Memorial Day Parade. It's to pay respects to our lost servicemen and also to honor those that are currently serving or have served. And I look at that as being an abuse, and I had emailed our Director of Park and Recs, and they may develop a policy. I asked, would you have liked to have seen somebody in there advocating a negative vote? And I said, in my email I said, I certainly hope not. I just don't think that's the forum to do it. I don't think that the children that were brought into the parade had an understanding of exactly what it was. It's just the wrong place, and it's totally disrespectful to anybody that's served our country, anybody that has relatives that has served the country. It's not the purpose of a Memorial Day parade. If you saw the Lions Club float, it was very clear the way that was put out there. And I can't tell you how negative that came across as the parade itself. And that's enough on that. The other thing that I have, to satisfy my curiosity, the hearing on the bond issue was not televised, correct?
I wasn't here, Tom, so I can't speak one way or the other. Did you film the bond hearing? No.
Yeah. Is there any reason that it wasn't televised? Because I've had people asking me. And one of the reasons that it seems to come up is I put a letter in the paper that basically referenced figures that were quoted or stated at that meeting from the representative, I believe, from Antonazi, that the cost of this issue to the owner of a $350,000 assessed home in Woodbury would be around $8,000 to $8,500 over the bonding period. And Rick Harrison, in his article on the 27th of May, stated the actual cost to the owner of that home is $11,641, so a little bit less than Bethlehem again. And I called Rick and asked him, and he told me he got it from Webster Bank. And the problem that I have with that is we have a hearing that, what were there, eight people from the public and the audience out here, I believe. And we were told that it was going to cost between $8,000 and $8,500 for the owner of that proverbial home. And it turns out to be, approaching $12,000. That is 45.5% error. And you're asking us to approve a project where a contractor has made a 45.5% error in the cost to us. And I don't know too many people in their own personal lives that would hire a contractor that made a mistake of that magnitude. And that's what a yes vote would do on this issue. And I'm uncomfortable with somebody that could present that figure at a hearing. And I told him at the time, he asked, don't hold me right to the penny, and I agreed, I won't hold you right to the penny. But the magnitude of that difference, and I would think that the cost of an issue at a bond hearing would be a much anticipated question. And to not have that put forth correctly, not even being prepared for it, it might be an indication of the type of contractor we're dealing with here. And from what I understand, you do have a contract if this is a positive vote. It doesn't go out to bid, that's what you said at the hearing. So these people are in it, but they've already made almost a 50% error.
Did you call the contractor? Did you call the architect and check those figures with him? Because I recall that statement that he, yes, don't quote me on this, that he also was saying that there could be other figures included in there, depending upon which way you calculated this.
I'm going by the figures used at the hearing. The figures used at the hearing. No, I did not call a contractor. I figured that he would have given us the fair and the correct answer at the hearing.
He was taking those figures because he was trying to calculate what it was. He did not have them. He tried to calculate them, and he said that. He also said later on at another meeting, that there was a possibility you could, I don't know the figures he was quoting, but the numbers could be different if you included other figures, depending on how you calculated it.
So well, you can make figures say whatever you want, Chuck. The thing is, there's a 50% increase just about there. And that's to the bottom line of the owner of that home over the length of the bond. And that is an issue. And the cost of the project, according to Mr. Harrison in his article, now with the financing on that becomes $54.9 million to Region 14 taxpayers. And just judging by the fact that approximately 25% of those students are out-of-community VOAG students, that's 13.7 million for those who don't pay taxes here. And it can hardly be said that VOAG doesn't cost us anything. And this is true cost to the community. $13.7 million in the vote on the 18th will go to support the education of students from out of town. That was answered in the bond, that they aren't contributing anything to that. And most of their school day is spent within the main core of the school. Thank you.
Of debt service versus the $11,000 and almost $12,000 is the gross debt service for the building project. Mr. Ailes at the building apologized directly that, he was doing it with limited, and he grabbed the wrong number. As he did a net number and not a gross number. He needs to speak to what he did. I don't think the board as a whole, and it's not, I don't want to get into a he said, she said. Your numbers that were in the Waterbury Republican have been confirmed by the architect as what the debt service will be to a family with a $350,000 valued house.
Right, and I had asked what the cumulative effect of that issue on that family would be at the hearing, and the net, that's just juggling figures again, and as I said, you can make them say what you want, but if you make it look like it cost 50% less than what it actually costs, that's a problem. And that's the point I'm trying to make, it because the public is confused about this. I said one figure, I said what I was told at the hearing.
Yep.
There's no records of the hearing unless you want to go to the town office. I don't know about this week, last week it wasn't available on your website. And you have to go to the town offices and pay to get a copy of the hearing minutes. So it's difficult for the taxpayers to get this. And they get two figures, so they're confused. But it is the higher figure, approximately 50% higher than what was stated at that bond hearing. And everybody should be well aware of that. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Pat Sarah, Woodbury. I'm here as a private citizen. I'm going to make it easy for the taxpayers to get the information because you can present these numbers many different ways, whether you factor in what's rolling off the debt service, what's not. There's so many ways to look at it, and I'm just going to say all the numbers are at fixnhs.com, fixnhs.com, because we want everyone to know what this is about. And there's no spin on it. There's advocacy there, yes. It says vote yes. Other than that, that site is just simply the information that used to be allowed on the website and had to be taken down due to election law. So I highly recommend you go and decide for yourself. And Mr. Harris, I would hope that you would take a look, and if there's anything there you think is not accurate, just let me know. Regarding the students in the parade, the Republican Town Committee had a float, the Democratic Town Committee has a float. Candidates are in the parade, so this is not a no politics zone. And I can tell you the students in that parade that I know exactly what's at stake and know what they represent. And they meant no disrespect to the veterans. They just feel strongly.
Anybody else wishing